Hi friends, this is Luke Erlock again, and I'm super excited to share the thinking process around connection. Connection is everything, right? I remember years ago listening to Brene Brown, a world famous author about vulnerability and shame, and she talks about that actually humans are naturally wired for connection. And yet a lot of people don't know how to authentically connect out of fear or systems that are in the way that stop them from connecting. And so I wanted to lean into connection because I feel like this is a place where we can grow and develop as human beings. And it's kind of the starting point, right? Unless you're connected with others and building, it's really hard to then know who you are, what you want to do, because it's by working with others that we kind of get to know ourselves better. It's kind of weird that way, right? And so thinking about this, I'm actually really inspired by the work of Simon Sinek. Now, if you don't know who Simon Sinek is, he basically broke the internet with his podcast about the Golden Circle, and he talks about that there's for every successful organization, they have a why, a how, and a what. Of, what's your why? Why are you doing things? How are you going to make that happen? And then what do you plan to do with it? Or how do you plan to do, what do you plan to do with it? And so thinking about this and Simon Sinek, there's lots of things that he has said, and it's a combination. So I recently found a quote about connection that he talks about in his book, Leaders Eat Last, Why Some Teams Pull Together and Others Don't. Sorry, I've got to quote it direct, so I got to read it. And he said, the value of our lives is not determined by what we do for ourselves. The value of our lives is determined by what we do for others. So it's about service. It's about connecting with others. It's about building community and culture. And how do we do that, right? And ironically, I was listening to an episode of A Diary of CEO, and Simon Sinek happened to be on it with Stephen Bartlett, and talking about friendship and building relationships, once again, connection. And he talks about, in this episode that aired on May 26, 2025, he says that we can actually build these connections through 3 different ways: shared values, shared interests, and common good. And so thinking about shared values, what is that? They're the truths that, help to govern our lives. They drive how we act, how we behave, how we feel. Shared interests are the things that we enjoy doing together and why we come together in the first place. And then, of course, the common good. This is going to be the purpose that drives, why are we together? What do we hope to achieve? And in short, it's kind of like the action that we want to put into place. So these 3 common elements create connection. And I'm curious of what you think about connection as you explore this next piece. Let's have some fun with this. Let's go in deep. And my suggestion is find a pillar that you think you need to work on first and zoom into all the elements, and then go to the next pillar. Let's have some fun, friends. I hope you enjoy this process.